All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Lloyd Ross Experience Podcast. We have a good friend of mine that's here today, Mr. Devin Boone. Hey, Devin, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Coach. How are you, man?
Oh man, glad to be here, man. Glad to be in the land of the living.
All right, it's good to be seen, right?
It's an inside joke right there. Don't nobody.
Right, yeah.
Well, yeah. It's always good to definitely be seen as well.
Yeah.
But man, it's a blessing, man, to be in this present day. Um, just you know, like I said, everybody, this is Devin Boone, man. Just give everybody some information on your background.
Okay.
Starting off.
Yeah, good deal. How far do I need to go back, Coach? Like to birth or
Hey man, you ain't gotta go that far back, baby.
that's not that far? All right.
Yeah,
Cool.
you ain't gotta go if you inspired to do such a thing. You know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah.
It's on you, man, my brother.
Yeah, I'm just glad it's been a really good day. So I'm having a little fun. This is the Lloyd Ross experience, so we're gonna make a good time. So my background, just grew up in the country, Heidelberg, Jasper County,
Right.
it was about 1,000 people. Left there at a young age. I went to a prep school, actually. I went to the School for Math and Science in Columbus.
Mm-hmm.
So that was quite the experience on the campus there. Had to grow up real fast. Left there. National Achievement Scholar and a lot of accolades, all that good stuff, and went on to Florida A&M. So when, living in the Jackson area, it's pretty tough because everybody's like, I love.
Right.
You can relate. You didn't graduate from
Jackson State. Yeah,
right?
definitely.
So it's kind of different, but happy that fam has got into swag, so I'll be able to pull out some of my alumni gear coming up soon.
Right.
Yeah, with the fam, architecture major. That was tough. Like college wasn't as fun for me as it was to a lot of other people. I think in college I really learned a work ethic. It wasn't about like just wilding out. It's about like just making sure I didn't lose my scholarship, about making sure I didn't come home and just learning how to get a job done for the deadline. I left school, started my first job. We were remodeling Katrina homes down in Ocean Springs. Then moved on up to Hattiesburg. Then the Great Recession hit, 2008. Got into education. I knew that I felt God had led me to do more than just kind of sit around in a cubicle, and just, it was at a point I was listening to my boss's footsteps and trying to like fake like I was working, it was pretty bad. So I went into education, been doing it ever since. So I went from special education, MDE, now doing consulting work, and I recently got into real estate. So that's going really well.
Okay.
Was that good, bro?
Yeah, that was great, man. Real estate, education, you know what I'm saying? That's man, those are some serious fields to go under, man. Man. And you say during Katrina you was helping out doing houses and stuff like that?
Yeah, because I graduated, I got my BS in 2005, then 2006 got my B Art, so I was ready to practice, like go and get licensed. So I was hired at a firm in Ocean Springs, and this, of course, was after Katrina. So, our job, we did like a lot of residential work. So we would go in homes that were like ravaged by Katrina. See where the water, they got like 4 or 5 feet high in these houses. These $500,000 houses. Right. And it would be our job to, essentially go in and get some of the dimensions and then try to take something that was, really just ravaged by the storm and turn it into something beautiful. It was pretty cool gig.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you doing that, man, because like I said, I went through Hurricane Katrina. I'm a graduate of Dillon University, so I went through that in New Orleans. So, you know what I'm saying? I appreciate all that work that y'all put in, man, doing that, man, because that's a serious thing, man, and it was well needed, especially when it was in a place that people forgot about. The government forgot about those people that went through the Katrina. And you know what I'm saying? When I say people, I mean they forgot about everybody. Right. So it was bad, but some good things happened, man. You know what I'm saying? Now they back rocking and partying and doing all that. And you know what I'm saying, one of the greatest stories, like I tell people all the time, they said Dillon University um, flooded.
Yeah.
Uh, they flooded, but out of all the buildings
Mm-hmm.
that got flooded, it was one building that didn't get flooded, and that was the chapel. You know
Wow.
what I'm saying, man? So
That's
that's,
profound, man.
man, God is real, man. You feel me?
Definitely.
God
Most definitely.
God is what He says He is, man. So
Right.
this um that's just something that I always like to say. I think about when I think about Katrina, man. God was somewhere while it
Mm-hmm.
was going on, man. So, um, and like I said, man, this is my episode 1. Um, what is your purpose? What is the purpose? What's your purpose? And
So,
like I said, man, I just for you to talk about that, and just give me some things that you want to express about what is your purpose. What's your
yeah,
purpose?
that's a great question, Coach. My purpose ultimately it is to glorify God. So for you to bring that up, I think that's a great segue into the conversation. In the midst of everything in my timeline, 2008 got called to the ministry. So I know how important it is to glorify God in all we do. So even when I was in that cubicle, right, I didn't feel
Yeah,
like I was glorifying God. I didn't feel like I was maximizing my talents that He had blessed me with. I can't breathe, I can't move, I can't do anything without Him. So everything I do, essentially, I need to be glorifying God. So if I'm doing architecture, my purpose is to give Him the glory, right? If I'm doing education, if I'm in the classroom teaching, basic multiplication to third graders, or if I'm teaching algebra 1 to high schoolers, or if I'm selling a $15,000 house or $500,000 house, my whole goal is to make sure that what I'm doing, what I say, how I act, how I carry myself, I'm glorifying God because
yeah,
I mean, He's not everything, right? And He's the reason why I'm here,
right,
and
right.
He puts me in position. So I think if I don't reflect glory back to Him, then like I'm tripping, bro.
Yeah, you got it. It always comes back to God. He's Alpha and He's Omega. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right, yeah,
He's the beginning and the end. So at the same time, it always comes back to God, man. I tell people
right,
that all
yeah.
the time. So
And then that's you too, because even as I'm looking around now, thinking about my family too, just as a dad, as a husband, like I think too, one of my biggest responsibilities is to make sure my boys, they see me in a light that they want to
right,
be, like me, not just like me, but they see the God in me,
right,
and that's a big
right,
deal. Honor
right.
my wife, honor my children. So just
Yeah.
that's it. Yeah,
You leading by example.
that's it, brother.
You
Yeah.
leading by example, my brother. They gotta
Mm-hmm.
have my grandmother used to tell me all the time, because I had 2 brothers that were growing up that was under
Mm-hmm.
me. We was all like 6, 7 years apart, and they used to say, I ain't gonna say what my nickname is, but he say, hey, you got brothers
Right.
that's looking at everything that you do, so
Mm-hmm.
you gotta do right. If you
Yeah.
don't do right, they not gonna do right. So you gotta
Most,
make sure every chance you get, you on point, you doing what you're supposed to do. So
most definitely.
man, that's a good thing, man, and that's I can tell that is really what inspires you, your family,
Mm-hmm.
your boys or whatever, man, and just you know, being a father. Just as you brought up about your kids, being
Yeah.
a father. How is how is being a father in today's time? Is that, or what I'm saying, is that easy? Is that hard? How important is it to you, being a father in today's time?
It means the world to me. From everything that what I do, what I say, how I respond to situations. Like if I'm just having a conversation with my wife, or if something happened in traffic, or how I drive, how I eat, where I walk, where I go, what I look at, what I say, how I talk. all day, I know they're watching. You know, I usually have more hair than it is, right? So when I cut my hair to commemorate my brain surgery, Carter decided to cut his hair just like me. You know, so that touched me tremendously to know that he thought enough to want to be like daddy, to look like daddy.
Yeah.
So if he want to look like daddy, I mean, he's watching how I act too, you know. So it's very important that, like you said, we got to give them the examples, because it's tough, man. Like, think about my son, especially, you know, Cameron just turned 12, and he's right at that pre-puberty stage, and, you know, girls, you know, they grow up a little bit faster than the boys. So things we talked today about, like Snapchat, you can send private snaps, and how you can Google things, and what's on the internet and what's on the phones. It's just, you just really gotta be involved, Coach. That's it. You gotta be involved. You gotta stay on top of things, and if we don't give them that example to follow, then surely the world is gonna give them some options to try to follow. So just gotta do my part, man.
Yeah,
I appreciate you too. You know, as a coach, you know, with basketball and things. You know, just plenty of examples to see.
Mentors and followers are, like I said, are very, 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 very important, man. Very important. You know, and you got to be thankful, man. Thankful every day, man. Thankful every day, and man, I know it's a blessing to be able to just have two boys that's doing right and you know, following along with God's plan, man, and that's the thing, you know, to fall in love with Jesus. It's the best thing. The best thing they could have ever did. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, they
it's
can
the
do
best.
A lot.
That's the best thing you could have done too.
Right.
You fell in love with Jesus. When you fall in love with Jesus, hey man, I don't know what else to tell you, brother. I don't know that something about Jesus. You know what I'm saying? It'll take you far as the eye can see. Man, and just you know, it's hey man, it's a blessing, man. It's a blessing, man. We're gonna take a little break, man. Just one little break, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna pay some bills for a quick little second, man. Just give me a minute here. And we can get ready to go back into it, man, with one of our last questions of the day, man. So just bear with us, man. Everybody out there, man, it's the Lloyd Ross Experience Podcast, episode 1. What is your purpose? What's your purpose? I need y'all to think about that. Devin, they need to know when they get off this thing today, they need to know what is your purpose. You know what I'm saying? They need to know. Yeah. All right, my brother, just bear with me, man, for just 1 minute.
Sure thing.
All right, we're back from commercial breaks, I should say. The Lloyd Ross Experience Podcast, episode 1. What is your purpose? What is your purpose? I'm here with Devin Boone, educator, evangelist, real estate agent, man. He's in the building, man. He's in the building, man. And man, one thing I wanted to go back and touch on. You said that you started, you got into ministry.
Yeah.
You got into ministry. Tell me a little bit more about that. You know, your church and where it's located, so the viewers can know about it. So they'll definitely be able to know. You know, when you have services or whatever. I know the virus is going on. You may be doing online right now, but just give them information about the church or whatever, man.
Okay, yeah, good deal. Yeah, so called into ministry, and I have no title, so I think it's funny, the whole evangelist. I'm just someone who, you know, I can read and explain and try to really paint a good picture for everybody who can get the scripture. So, you know, kind of, most people will say like a pastor, but we manage a ministry. My sons and I was talking about the fact that we had an 85-year-old Caucasian lady who gave us a building just for free at 5590 Shaw Road. Her husband used to use it for a chemist physics lab, whatever. And the name of the building, well, it is the lab. The ministry is the Lighthouse Assembly of Believers. We call it the lab for short. We right across from Arbor Park, off Highway 80. So we do a lot of great things in the community. We had like First Friday for the kids. Of course, we give back to the community because it's not about us. You won't see me driving around Clinton in a Cadillac, a Mercedes Benz, anything like that.
You deserve it though, if you would.
Hey. If I can get from point A to B, I'm good, man. You know, but
right.
everything we do is for God, like real talk.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So it's just a great thing, and really my biggest, I guess, the calling, or as we grow, you know, it's just how the like this call to help others grow. You know, like what is your gift? You know, we were talking about what's your purpose. One of the biggest things I always touch on is what gift did God give you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then how are you going to give that gift back? How are you going to use it? And the lab's a place where if you can teach, come on, teach. Like the floor is open. You got to come in. If you can sing, you can pray, you can dance, whatever. And you've been there a couple times. And I know you looked around like, what? And like this is kind of different. You know, it's not your traditional church in a sense where it's all, you know, but we just give everybody a chance to grow and out the box. Glorify God, yeah.
Right. Well, that's it, man.
Yeah. So you know, you mentioned the pandemic. So we're on Facebook Live. We come on about 9 o'clock Sunday mornings, and we just teach the word, man.
Yeah, and you said the address is what? Whenever y'all start back having services.
Oh yeah, 5590 Shaw Road. That's right for Highway 80. If you're familiar with Arbor Park, we're right across the street from Arbor Park. So it's the Clinton Jackson line.
Okay.
As we say, see the light, be the light. Come see us. Yeah.
All right, man. Man, that's great, man. Just keep doing what you're doing, brother. The ministry is growing, man. Just keep doing what you're doing, man. Just keep, like I heard a great preacher say one time, preach the word, and the people will come.
Yeah, that's it. And we're gonna preach it, teach it, and we want people just the word to prick the heart, man. That's it.
Yeah, definitely, man. It's like I said, man, just keep doing what you're doing, man, and everything else gonna fall in place. Especially when you living by what the Lord wants and doing what God wants you to do. Man, everything is possible. Everything you do, man, if you do it because of the Lord, man, God gonna bless you. And I know for that. I know that for a fact, man, because He's never taken me through no more than I can bear. So I'm just thankful for that, man. I'm thankful just to have found the Lord at a young age, man. My grandmama, my great grandmama took me to Sunday school every Sunday. My grandma made sure I got to church. She took me to choir rehearsal, man. It was just, man, I just had a team of folks that just love the Lord. You know what I'm saying? My great grandma used to always say, if you don't know the Lord, you better get to know him.
You better, hey, before it's said and done.
Yeah, man, because at the end of the day, man, I needed him, man. I've been lost without him. I ain't gonna lie to you, I would have been lost. You know, I was like a filthy rag, a wretch undone. It wasn't worth anything. But God took me in.
Yeah.
When I was nobody.
You got the dogs going, man.
You hear them? Hey, man, I feel them though. I feel them. They ain't doing nothing. They talking to Jesus.
They praising the Lord.
They praising the Lord. That's it.
Yeah.
But man, my last question for the day, man, is how do we change the Black culture? How do we change it, man? How do we make it better, man? How do we get people to just focus on the situation, man, and get to the point of getting better as a culture?
Right. I think it started at home, and it started at home with us, the Black men. We have to step up, and we have to be those examples. We have to be like Christ. We have to show our children the right way. How do we live? What's the standard for us to live up to? How do we carry ourselves? How do we act in public? How do we go on and get great educations? How do we continue to keep our neighborhoods looking, not having abandoned buildings everywhere? How do we pay our bills? How do we go to college? Like everything starts at home. So I know for me, my house, my boys, they're gonna know because they've seen it. But then you look at a lot of households where there really is no example. They're looking at rappers who are getting paid lots of money to portray an image that they don't really live, right? They're getting paid, to push an agenda, all right? Certain things, the stuff you see on TV, but it just starts at the house, man. Like we gotta step up, show our kids, show our children how to live, because it's not gonna be like a systemic change where, I know, especially in the days age, people look for like one person to unite or this great big call. It's gonna start individually inside.
Right.
If I can get 100 people to make a shift, a paradigm shift, to change their mind, to change the way they think, then we're gonna have a movement going on. But if you expect one person to just kind of say something, wave a magic wand, probably fix, that's not gonna be it. We gotta just step up. Moms, dads, single moms, divorcees, whatever it is. Like I'm going to do all I can to show whoever it is in my house, this is the way things need to be done, the right way. And I think once we get that going, the Black culture can go and do some amazing things, because I'm in the mindset that, and I listen to a lot of Dr. Eric Thomas. So when I get on a plane and I'm not flying first class, like I'm looking around like I could be flying first class. If somebody else is doing it, I can do it too, right? So all the cultures can come in the country, all the cultures have been here, whatever, and they can get it and do it. Why can't we? That's my mindset. If other people can do it, so can I. So it just becomes a matter of the way we think, how we think will determine how we act and the things we do.
Right, and you're right. You're definitely right. The late great G. Patterson. He had a sermon that he did long time ago. Salvation is an inside job.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It ain't about what you look like on the outside. It's about what you look like on the inside. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter about the clothes that you wear. It doesn't matter about the way you look. It's about salvation is an inside job. And Reverend G. Patterson used to preach about that. The late great G. Patterson, Memphis, Tennessee, man, great pastor, man. He's really missed. And man. Like I said, man, the Black culture is in a serious situation. And we don't have that much time.
No.
We don't have time. We don't have time to not be at a focus of trying to figure out what the problem is. You know what I'm saying? We got a serious job to do, and it starts with inside the home. And it's up to us it's up to everybody, and fathers especially. It's up to everybody, man, to get it together and get things on point on what it needs to be, man. And like I said, like you said, it starts with the home. And my great grandma used to always say, don't wait till you get out in public and try to chastise your children or teach them how to act or whoop their butt. Don't do that out in public. Wait till you get home. Train them at home.
Yeah.
When they go outside, they'll know how to act. You know what I'm saying? Don't get them and whoop their butt in the middle of the stove or whatever case like that. You wait till you get home and train them. So that's important, man. And we out here, man. It's a lot of people, a lot of kids. They're really doomed from start. And when I say doomed from start, doomed from birth, because they don't understand the Black culture. They don't understand what is needed to change, and that's why they got to make a change, man. We got to make a change, man. We got to change what's on the inside. You know what I'm saying? All this hatred, all this, you know what I'm saying? We care about the wrong people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The folks you should care about is the folks that really love you.
Yeah.
The streets don't love you.
Not at all.
I know you get love from the streets, but the streets ain't gonna love you the same way. You know what I'm saying? And we know that all parents don't do everything right. But Lord have mercy, you know what I'm saying? They had you. You know what I'm saying? You know, you at their house. You know what I'm saying? You gotta take responsibility as well. You know what I'm saying? It can't always be on the parents or what they supposed to do. So man, you know, you have to have kids have to take responsibility. You know what I'm saying? Parents gotta guide them and lead them and put them on point, man. You know what I'm saying? You know that though.
It takes what you call like a heart transplant. You know, the heart is an interchangeable word in the Bible for, you know, your mind, your soul, what you believe, what's at the core of you. So some of us really do need a heart transplant. Like the things we value, like you said, we got to get that changed. You know, if we look more into, we'll put more money into weed, you know, Jordans, you know, alcohol, you know, snacks and stuff like that. We rent more than we do when it comes to in real estate investing, you know, versus trying to put up savings accounts, stocks and bonds, purchasing things, scholarship funds. We just gotta, you know, we really just gotta change the way we think.
Paradigms, Definitely, man. We gotta definitely do it, man. But it's been a pleasure, man, to have you on episode 1 of What is Your Purpose, man. It's definitely, man. I got some, you know, got some more guests that's gonna be on next. And man, I just appreciate you blessing me, giving me the opportunity, man, just to talk to you, man, and just get the, you know what I'm saying, that positive energy, man. I just appreciate that, man. Episode 1, man, it's about to be so serious, man. It's Lloyd Ross experience, man. Man, ask me, man, what is a Lloyd Ross experience?
So, Coach, what is a Lloyd Ross experience?
Man, it's a soulful experience. So, man, we go get back with y'all in a couple of minutes, man. Just give us a minute to handle some business, pay some bills, and we're gonna go from there, man. Anything you want to say, man, before I let you go? You know,
hey, just keep doing what you're doing, man. Be encouraged, and at this point, they say the sky is no longer the limit because some man's been on the moon, right?
Right.
Do your thing, man. God's got you, and just be encouraged, all right, brother?
Man, no doubt, man. Appreciate you coming on the show, man. Y'all bear with us, man. Give us some time right here. We're gonna pay some bills, man. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Lloyd Ross Experience Podcast, man. What is your purpose? Episode 1. Welcome to the Lloyd Ross Experience Podcast. And I have a very special guest here with me today, Mr. Calvert White. It's truly a pleasure to have him on the show today. He's doing big things, man. Great guy. And I'm very, how can I say, excited about having him on the show, man. So he's doing big things, and I'm just gonna let him tell you about his background of what he do and what he got going on here in the state of Mississippi. Mr. Calvert White.
The pleasure's all mine, man. I'm glad to be here. My name is Calvert White. You know, I go by Cal, CJ, you know, something like that. I am a student at Arkansas University. I'm a rising junior, and I operate as Alcorn's NAACP Vice President, as well as working for Mississippi Votes Democracy in Action Fellow Program. And I'm also a co-organizer for BLMC.
Okay. Man, wonderful. And you say you go to Alcorn State University, home of the mighty Braves.
Yes, sir.
I would say it's no better place to be.
Yes, sir. You sound good saying it.
Hey, I got a lot of friends and uh, just associates that went to Alcorn, man, and they all loved it, played ball down there. So
Yeah.
I'm used to them always talking about it. So, but yeah, man, we just appreciate you for what you do, man, and everything like that. And this is my episode 1, man, of my first episode in my podcast, and the
Yeah.
topic is on what is your purpose.
Right.
What's your purpose, man? So that's really what I want to talk to you about. Like, what is your purpose for what you're doing in life, and where you're trying to go? What is that purpose?
Well, I am an English education major at Alcorn. That being said, I want to teach. Black men make up about 2% of the teacher workforce in the nation. Let alone Mississippi. And so I feel like I'm going where I'm needed.
Right.
On top of being, civically engaged and talking about getting people, registered to vote and getting their voices heard. I mean, honestly, my purpose is to serve. I feel like I'm in a service position. I don't feel like I'm above anybody. And so one of the things that we say with BLM SIP is that the only difference between, you or me, or me and somebody else, that's in the audience, is that I'm on the stage. So it could be you at any given time. Activism has no age. It has no set date. There are no accolades or qualifications. All you have to do is just understand that you have a voice that needs to be heard. Try to take the measures to self-educate, and you're activist right then and there. So I'm here to serve people.
All right, man. That's a good thing, man. It's good to have young brothers. That's just being an activist, and then on top of that, trying to be a teacher. I'm a former school teacher and coach myself, and
That's what's up.
so man, I used to teach science and was coaching football, basketball. So man, I know how it is, man, to be on the front line, not to have that many male teachers in the school.
Right.
And man, it was rough, man. Shout out to Boone, for definitely connecting us. Boone with Boone Credit Solutions. Definitely, y'all look her up. She's doing big things. Her and her husband. And man, she we was on the front line together. At out south at the middle school. So we went through the storm and the rain. You know what I'm saying? And it's gonna be some good days, my brother. It's gonna be some bad days. But like I said, at the end of the day, man, you right where you need to be, and just keep going. Especially, to be a male English teacher, that's major, man. That's real major. So they definitely need English teachers, especially males English teachers, because like I said, mainly most of the time when kids are not learning is in the English classroom, you know what I'm saying? Because they try to run over the women, and for you to be a male and be able to be in there and put your foot down and make sure that they learning what they supposed to do, man, you're gonna be a great contributor to the school system, man. So I thumbs up to you, brother. Just keep doing what you're doing, man. It's a blessing, definitely a blessing. My next question that I want to ask you, what inspires you? What keeps you going, man? What's the inspiration in what you do? Where do you get that from?
Honestly, I don't know. Well, for one, I have a mama who works very, very hard.
Right.
And watching her. We can put, the single black mom stigma if you want to. Sometimes it does more harm than good. And so I think I would much rather say that I have a mother who is a scholar. She has 2 degrees, working on her third, right? Is it third or fourth? Master's.
Okay. Hey, mama.
4th degree, actually. Excuse me. Right. It's in grades, and sometimes it hurts because we aren't, in a position that we're making, 6, 7 figures, but she's always taught me that, it's a much better feeling to be doing the right thing, and may not and not getting those accolades than doing the wrong thing and finessing to get it. So I'm all about hard work. I played football at Clinton 5 years from ninth grade on through.
Okay.
And so, I've always been somebody that works hard. I have civil rights roots. My great grandfather was a freedom rider in Jackson. Matter of fact, his mugshot is featured on the wall in the Civil Rights Museum.
Okay.
And so, there's always something really cool that I think about, with me following his footsteps. But honestly, I think what inspires me holistically is probably just the resilience that I've seen, as a people from the Black community, especially, Mississippians and Jacksonians, that they exhibit day in and day out, because people feel like, Mississippi in general is a lost cause, especially in Jackson, they feel like it's destitute, there's no hope, no resources, and all it takes is one, quick trip around town, and you see that there's not necessarily true. Because there are people who want to change Jackson, who want to get it back on the map. There are scholars in Jackson. It's not just one kind of Black people. And so I think that's what inspires me the most to do the work that I'm doing right now.
Okay. Great, man. That's great, man. You just keep doing what you're doing, man. Because like I said, sometimes you gotta have inspiration in life. Like you said, your mom. Having your mom as an inspiration. That's a great thing, because I know I was inspired by my family members, so I know that's what kept me going through college. You know what I'm saying? Shout outs to Dillon University, New Orleans. You know what I'm saying? That's what
love.
HBCU love all day, baby. So that's what kept me going, man. Just knowing that my grandmother and my mother and my family members were proud. My great grandmother was glad that I was just in college, trying to do something with my life. So man, that's a big thing, man. Big thing, man. And one of my last question that I want to talk to you about is how do we change the Black culture, man? How do we change that?
Honestly, I wouldn't even say that the culture needs change. I just feel like it needs a revitalization. Because I feel like we have really, really good core values. I feel like we have a general focus. It's just that at times, especially in times like these, we tend to deviate from, the plan. And it's really, really easy to get distracted, in the happiness of life. And I think that COVID-19 has kind of helped to slow everything down. People are at home, they have more time to think, to read, to explore, to do all these things that they weren't necessarily able to do before. And so I feel like we need to do a better job of educating each other. There's a massive superiority complex within the Black community, especially one where people are like, how did you not know that? I knew that. Just things of that nature, and it comes off as being very arrogant. And so, in people who have platforms that have, positions of high power, I think they need to do a better job of, educating one another. And not necessarily condemning each other for not knowing something. And we had a Juneteenth celebration that BLM SIP and SIP talked through yesterday on Fair Street. And so that was all about the recirculation of the Black dollar.
Okay.
Because I think that the Black dollar stays in the community the shortest, as compared to different demographics. And so that was, a showcase, to get young people involved, to get, Black vendors, Black artists, Black musicians involved. And we got them a lot of business yesterday, if only for 4 hours. But there are civic duties that we have to take on as a people that, we haven't necessarily followed completely through. There's an election coming up, it's November 3rd on a Tuesday. And so I've been hearing some talk saying, I'm not going to vote, my vote doesn't matter. But honestly, if your vote didn't matter, so voter suppression wouldn't be real. There wouldn't be all these barriers preventing guys from voting, because we still face some of those problems that we faced, before the Voter Rights Act was passed. We still have poll taxes in the sense. We still have a lot of the same systems that oppress black voters and the black voice in general.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sorry, I don't mean to ramble.
No,
But
you
just
doing
we
good,
need
man.
to make sure that that we're voting. That's my first thing.
Right.
Two, that we make our voices known. Three, that we self-educate and educate others. And four, organize, because that's all that BLM SIP is doing. We're organized, and we don't necessarily have experience. We have one member who just graduated from college, so all of us are still in school. We're young people. We still are pursuing an education, but we're also understanding that we're still college students. So you don't have to necessarily give your life completely over to activism to get that message across. Because if we go back to school in the fall, I'll be there and I'll be ready to turn up. But conversely, there are things that need to happen, and there are conversations and dialogue that need to be had within the community that I don't think some people are necessarily ready for. We can't chant, Black Lives Matter and Black Power and not hold ourselves accountable in some way when interacting with the rest of the world.
Right. And when you're saying BLM SIP, what is that exactly?
Oh, I'm sorry. Black Lives Matter Mississippi is a collective of HBCU students. We're relatively new, about 2 weeks old actually. Okay. So we're still in the process of organizing. We had a very successful protest on June 6th. That was outside the governor's mansion, and we brought out about 5,000 Mississippians.
Okay.
So I think now we're in the process of circling back, trying to get some more organization and some sort of constitution being made. But the purpose of it is to get youth in Mississippi, especially Black youth in Mississippi, involved and civically engaged, so that we can kind of give them a creative space and a political home. Especially because times are as turbulent as ever. We need somewhere we can kind of go to and confide in each other and be able to share these emotions and share this intelligence, and help each other out.
Right. And ladies and gentlemen, I want y'all to really listen to what he's saying. He said BLM, Black Lives Matter, SIP. You know what I'm saying? Look him up, on Facebook. Calvert White, CALVERT White. Look him up. You got an Instagram?
I do, sir.
What's your Instagram?
It's Calvert, CALVERT, Lamon, LAMON. So CALVERT, LAMON. That's
All
Twitter
right.
and Instagram.
Yeah, man. Please look him up, man, to get involved in what he has going on, man. He's doing big things. Man, he's doing great things, man. Please look him up on his Instagram, on his Facebook, whatever, Twitter. And he said a lot of good things. You were saying something about thing that I really want people to understand and to focus on. Voting. You know what I'm saying? You can vote. You know what I'm saying? All this trying to, be seen, but get your tail out there in November, vote, get organized, like he says, self-educate yourself, do whatever you got to do, man. He got the plan. He on the same thing that I'm on. The same way I'm thinking. He thinking about voting, and that's gonna be so important, man. We gotta stop talking about what's not gonna help. Get out there, vote, do what you're supposed to do, man. Follow this young man. He's doing great things, man. Follow this young man. He's doing great things. I'm telling you, man. Just keep doing what you're doing, my brother. Keep doing what you're doing, man. I seem to have lost you for a brief second, but hey, man, I want to be able to thank. I want y'all to look up Boone Credit Solutions. All right, Boone. Go to this commercial break. Boone Credit Solutions, man. This is the Lloyd Ross Experience Podcast. Boone Credit Solutions. Look them up on Facebook. They're changing the way things should go. You're getting your credit right, doing what they're supposed to do, man. Look them up on Facebook. The Lloyd Ross Experience Podcast. Thank you so much. right, y'all. We are back with Mr. Calvin White, man, and I'm gonna give him the last little bit of his time just to give him some time to just inspire and let you know what's going on in the next couple of months, and then we'll get back to the podcast, the Lloyd Ross Experience Podcast. Calvert, take us on out.
I think I got two major points. I think one being for the black youth, just be active, man. As you can see, especially my Mississippians and my Jacksonians, it wasn't much going on, but all of a sudden, organizations like SIP talking BLM SIP are making things happen, and we likely aren't paying for it out of our pockets. All the people are waiting for us to do is just get right. All we gotta do is just mobilize, be engaged, and there are resources out there for us. And so don't ever feel like you have to wait for somebody to make the first move. You make it yourself. That's exactly what we're doing right now. If you guys want to get involved, like Mr. Ross mentioned earlier, just follow the page, man. It's BLM SIP on Twitter, BLM_SIP on Instagram, and Black Lives Matter SIP on Facebook. My second message is for my black men specifically. Just understand that this movement, even though it includes everybody, this is for y'all. Too many times are there, black men that are minding their business at the end of his hashtags. And who's to say that I won't be next? So just make the most of what you're doing right now, especially if you're 25 or under. Like this movement is for you, man. Understand that you have emotions and they're valid. That there are people that you can talk to. If you don't feel comfortable talking to nobody else, talk to me. And then I have no problem trying to make time, to chop it up with y'all. But just make sure that somebody is listening and you're being heard, man. That's all I got.
Hey, man. Appreciate it, man. And when you said that's, what's that Facebook page? BLM_SIP?
Black Lives Matter SIP on Facebook.
Black Lives Matter SIP. Okay. All right, guys. Well, thank y'all so much. Calvert, I greatly appreciate you blessing me, man, with being on my show. Episode 1, man. What's your purpose? Yeah, we're going to be, releasing it tonight. So, man, thank you so much for being on, man. Tell your lovely mother I said hello and thank you so much for bringing a good young man like yourself and on this earth to inspire and motivate. And we just appreciate her as well, man. Thank you so much, man. You be safe, man. Keep your head up, man. Whatever you need, man, just holler at me. I'll rap with you later, man. Thank you, man.
Okay,
peace, man.
Thank you.
No problem, brother. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special guest here today to the Lloyd Ross Experience Podcast. A good friend of mine, real good guy, man, that I've known for a long time. Coach Fitzgerald. How you doing today, my brother?
I'm pretty good, Lloyd. How about you?
Man, I'm making it, man. I'm here. That's all that matters. I'm here, man.
That's right. That's the blessing part of it, ain't it?
Yeah, definitely. So, man, basically, man, with no longer further ado, quick question, man, that I've always wanted to know from you. When did you fall in love with basketball?
Probably about 6 years old.
Okay.
Tell me stories about when I was 6. He had put me in the game, and like the first time he put me in basketball, I took to that. Like I loved it. I wanted to play it every day, all the time, all day long. I was playing baseball before that, and I was pretty good at it. And just something about basketball that, like, from early on in them early stages, from what they tell me from then to now, it's just always been a passion of mine, just because so much comes from the sport. Because it was one of the things that saved me from the streets of Jackson and different places by being able to play ball. it kind of got me through life, carried me through different neighborhoods, different situations where you know, in Jackson growing up, you know, gang life was prevalent when we were coming up.
Yeah.
Escape from me, it just became my excuse to way, and just always been in love with it since then.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. That's right. That's true. You know, sports was the key thing to get you out of a lot of trouble uh, going on in Jackson, man. You know, sports was that outlet, you know, to put you in a better situation. But because of you falling in love with basketball, just tell me, basically, let everybody know what you're doing now, what you got going for yourself, and what it led to, you know, from, you know, going to high school to college and what you do now.
All right, cool. I moved to Jackson when I was like 8 or 9, and started off at Boyd Elementary, and then went from Boyd to Piney Woods. Once I graduated from Boyd Elementary, I went to Piney Woods because my mom was moving around a lot with jobs, and then we had some stuff at the house like domestic violence and drug abuse with my pops that she wanted to get us away from the city because I was headed down that path of single parent, and you see certain things, you went stuff. So Piney Woods, man, stayed there till 12th. Well, I went to Thelma Jackson in between, but I graduated from Piney Woods 12th grade. Won back-to-back state championships with them. I started 2 guard on that team. Then I kind of got in some trouble and stuff, man. My senior year, they kind of carried over into recruiting to where I had to go to Tougaloo. And the stuff that I did, you know, the trouble I got into, it was minor stuff, but it was stuff they were asking me to stop doing that I had been doing. And they made an example, basically. I made an example out of myself, I should say. And ended up going to Tougaloo on full scholarship, played over there for 3 years, ended up having a son, and then just kind of trying to figure life out. You know what I mean? Like, you have a child in college and you're thinking one thing, playing overseas and having a chance of doing this, and then it's like, okay, I got to take care of a child. And how am I going to do that in college on scholarship? So I ended up dropping out, worked some odd end jobs, then got in the streets for a little while in Jackson. And then once I got through, you know, just realizing that I was going down the wrong path, I moved to Chicago. And in the meantime of that, now that's when I was coaching your brother and Jacquez out of the Jackson. When I left, we finishing up, I think you remember the freedom schools that we put in the NBA. We had a school program. I was telling Jeff about it the other day, and it was one of many freedom schools that were here in Jackson, and my mom was, you know, spearheading on kind of trying to combat that uneducation that we have in our neighborhoods. And then when I moved to Chicago, man, it just was a do or die situation because I was in them streets, and I think kind of the walls were closing in on me. And then I just made a decision, like, you know what, in order for me to get away from the stuff that I'm doing, I got to really get away. So I moved 10 hours straight north. I didn't turn around looking back. I had the money I had in my pocket, went up there, got into coaching. In Chicago, man, it was kind of like a sign, if you want to say, because it literally was, because I was driving down the street, come to a red light, look across the street, and on the fence it said itphoops.com looking for volunteers. So I had just moved to the city, and I probably was there for like 2-3 weeks. And I went home, got online, volunteered, went in there the first day, and they let me do some drills. And they was like, whoa, hold on, you know what you're doing? And I was like, well, I played it at a level and I can train, you know what I'm saying, because I train myself and I can think it. So start off a school called Diet High School. It was a school in Chicago, but they turned it into a high school right there in Washington Park. Started coaching there. Was a guy from Arkansas named Pat Bowie, who gave me an opportunity to be his assistant. And it was crazy because the guy who took me in there to introduce me to Pat, I ended up getting hired for his job, which was crazy because dude was a DJ and he didn't have the time. And so the head coach, Coach Bowie, he ended up telling me, like, man, I need somebody full time. I need somebody that's dedicated. And I just fell into that realm because everybody knows that if I go into something, I'm gonna work hard at it. So got that job, was blessed with ITP Hoops. I kept doing stuff with them on Saturdays. And the guy who was the director, Coach Mike Robinson, ended up getting a contract with the mayor of Chicago to do his fest. So we had, I think it was 3 courts. We had 2 full courts. No, we had 1 full court and we had 2 half courts. So a total of 2 courts, but I had my own half court that I could do individual skills training at for any kid in Chicago that wanted to get off the streets or come inside to something warm. And they had all types of activities, you know, chess, boxing, basketball, badminton. They had a lot of things in there. And I had my own station, and the coaches at Kennedy King College right there in Chicago at the time, Coach Dildy, I think he's passed away since then, noticed what I was doing and reached out to me, gave me his card, we stayed connected. He ended up getting me a job with a guy named Lauren Jackson over at Julian High School. And Lauren at the time was a legendary coach. He had been coaching for like 23 years and had his own prep school at the time. And he had just went back to high school in the city coaching. Went over there with him. That spiraled north, because I ended up leaving Chicago with him. We coached AAU with Mean Streets that summer with Anthony Davis and some more guys that we had on that team that all went Division I. High major. Jamari Traylor went to Kansas. Phil Green went to St. John's. Darian Walker and Jabril Adekoye went to Valparaiso. I mean, the list goes on. And then I got IMG. And IMG came from staying loyal to Lauren. Lauren had some issues or such in Chicago and decided to move. He and Coach K's nephew linked up, and Coach K's nephew got the director's job at IMG, and he brought Lauren, and his stipulation was if he went, I had to come with him or he wasn't taking the job. So they ended up hiring me at IMG, and 4 years after that, we turned that program around. IMG at the time was one of the doormat prep programs. I remember watching videos my first year, and the year we had been beaten by like 70 points, 60s and 50s, and I was like, man, we got to change this around. So it took us a year to get it turned around. But after that first year, we had, I think it was 2 Division I guys on our post-grad team, and the guys who we brought from Chicago were the Division I guys off of the high school team. But then next year, man, we did a heck of a job recruiting, and of course it was IMG, so it was kind of an easy sale once we switched to it, and we were able to pick up a class of 22 where 13 of those guys went to Division I. And that kind of set my path a little bit different, where guys started, paying was doing, and we were able to showcase practices, things, and us working, so guys started believing in what we were doing. And after IMG, my last year at IMG, I ended up having a very, very good team to where I feel like we should have been ranked in the country. Who knows why we weren't. I think we lost some games that we shouldn't have, but, we were right there with the top programs in the country, Lalamere and Midwest Prep, Oldsmar Christian, West Oaks. I mean, all those folks we were playing and beating. And at least, I know Lalamere, we lost by 3. So we were either in game or, those things. And I had Bacon that's with Charlotte Hornets. Corey Sanders is playing overseas. He went to Rutgers. Oliver Black was from Wingfield. Oliver went to school. His last playing year was at IMG, but he finished up graduating here because I came back during the year as well. He ended up going to Mississippi State. Dante Scott, I was just on the phone with him last night on FaceTime. Went to Memphis and then JUCO and then back to Mississippi Valley, where he averaged, I think, 18 as a senior. So that group was loaded, man. Tyshawn Powell to Duquesne. I had a kid get drafted off that team straight from post-grad. From there, Raheem Lockhart got the job at Jones, right here in Ellisville. And Raheem and I are friends from 11 and 12 years old. I'm older than him by a year.
Yeah.
And so when he got the job, his thing was he wanted to hire somebody with some connections and some recruiting and some trust, so it made sense. So I went there for 2 years and was blessed to get a Division I job out of there at Iona College up in New York with Coach Tim Cluse and Jerry Grasso and Brock Erickson. Those guys brought me in, and I did that for a year. And we ended up winning the NCAA tournament, won our conference, was successful there as well. Came back home because I felt like I was missing my family. At that time, my fiance that's about to be my wife now.
Congratulations.
Actually flying up every month twice.
Wow.
He was a strain. And then also my son and my oldest daughter were here. I was not able to see them as well because of that grind on Division I is just a different 24/7 grind that at that time being in New York, that was just too far away from our family. So I came back here and I was working at Piney Woods for about a week and had interviewed at Jones, didn't get the job. And then I think if it's a folk tale to it. I don't know the truth because it's like 5 stories. The AD at Jones called the AD at Hines and got me in the picture to get an interview for Hines, and then I killed the interview and got the job. But then there's also a story of Tamika Reed, who's the head coach over at Jackson State. she helped me get in on the interview and was one of the ones that pushed me over to get the job, which I think both stories are true. So it's probably on both sides. I got a good recommendation and got the job here.
Yeah.
And it's just a blessing because Nick and I knew of each other, but didn't really know each other, but we had two friends. And then the former coach, Moore, he was at USM. I was at Piney Woods. So he recruited us at USM when he was there. And then when he went to Hines, it was right after my senior year of high school. And he and I have known each other since I was 15, 16 years old. So it's one of them stories of, you know, it's divine. God has been steering a lot of it because, of course, like I was talking in the barbershop today, we were doing things back in the day, man, that any of us could have gone to jail and had a felony record and was just down the wrong path doing the wrong things. And I realized, like, if I was going to be a model and be able to coach some guys and teach some kids, I can't be in the streets and then talking about teaching and coaching at the same time. So it was one of the, I try to tell the guys now, you can't have one foot in and one foot out. We commit to something. You can't be on that gray area. You got to be all in or all out, one of the two. So that's the condensed version of.
Yeah. Hey, man. Coach Moore, man, was at Hines for a long time. For a long time, man, because I know my father, he coached my father at Callaway High School. And and man, that was in the 80s. So you know what I'm saying? And when he left Callaway, I think a year after my dad had graduated and went to Prairie View on basketball scholarship. He left there, and I think he left Callaway, I think he went straight to Hines. And man, that's been a long, man, for Mr. Coach Moore to stay at Hines that long, man, that's remarkable within itself, you know. And you know, but man, that's man, you had a different path, man, and it's always been ups and downs, but at the end of the day, man, it always came back to you know, basketball and family and everything like that. So man, it really your path wasn't the easiest path to take, but the path that you took, man, it always led to greatness. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, man, that's a great story, especially going to Chicago and then going to New York and then Florida and everywhere, man. It's been hard to keep up with you, man. Hard to keep up with you, man. You fly 747s, I tell you that. You know what I'm saying? You American Airlines, you travel.
And like I tell people, like, from where we're from, like, I just recall I was coaching that Jackson Panthers team for Shockway a couple years before I left, and I remember picking a kid up on the west side of Jackson. His name was Xavier, and I can't remember his last name. I want to say it was Ottman, but I could be wrong, but it was Xavier. And I picked him up from the west side of town over by Jackson State, and I had to pick some guys up by North Park. So he had fell asleep in the meantime of us going from west side to North Park. When he wakes up, he's like, man, we made it to Memphis fast. I'm like, Memphis? I'm like, boy, we are on Carolina Road. He's like, you don't know about no Memphis, coach? You know what I'm saying? Carolina Road. All right, I got to make sure I tell my people. I said, boy, we are still in Jackson. And I realized then, it's so many times we'll grow up in situations where our parents might not have it all and might not be able to expose us to different things in life. And I feel like, you know, that shouldn't hold you back as you're growing up, because a lot of times making sacrifices in order for you to be okay, and can't do other things that other parents may be able to do, of traveling and showing you this and showing you that. But like, that doesn't make any, never mind for when you get older and whatever you want to do, man, you can choose your own path and you can make it. It's just about, if you want to do anything, man, you got to start with prayer. If you pray the right way, and I ain't talking about just willy-nilly praying, you got to be specific when you're talking to God, and you got to really have your thoughts and your organization by prayer. That's really what prayer leads to being, is more of a structure of what you're trying to do. Like, you can pray, but as you're praying about it, you're speaking into existence, and you also putting it in order.
Yeah.
So and then you go to work, bro. When you work, man, there shouldn't be anybody out working you. And that's how it was for basketball when I came up. playing, like you had guys like Lindsey Hunter, Ryan Lockridge, Godfrey Thomas. You had left hand field that was over at Millsaps. You had my teammates Ronnie Davis and Larry Bland. You had so many guys, Rob. You had so many guys, James Robinson, Jesse Pate, that you would run up against on any given day, on any given neighborhood. Like Lake Heiko used to jump so hard, like on Sundays, that you had to play your hardest and go your hardest, you know what I'm saying, in order to stay on the floor at any gym you went in around here. And then even in playing in the games in high school and college, like you had to work your behind off. So if you take that same work ethic, man, and you put the prayer on top of it, bro, like it's nothing that you can't accomplish. You know what I mean? Like I'm doing some stuff right now personally that, you know, trying to continue to be a model and a leader. You know what I mean? So like for me, I lead better by example and letting these young men see that, you know, I come from the same neighborhood as y'all come from. My dad still, and it's people say it's sad or whatever, and it is, because drug abuse in America has taken out so many of our powerful black men and women. And my dad was those people that he could sing, he could play ball, he could do anything he wanted to do, but he chose a life of a different way that, you know, led him to where he's still on crack now. And I still go see him and sit down with him and talk and get a good understanding of things that I wouldn't do that he's done, and it's helped me as a father and as a you know, soon to be husband and a coach, a mentor. And like I tell everybody, man, if I can do it, you can too, because we come from the same circumstances. Some people have had circumstances better than mine, from what my therapist says. And shit, if I can make it through the shit I have, I mean, I think others can too. So like for me, man, it's the passion that I come and speak with, and I get behind the sport so much because it's bigger than the sport, because we're grooming people, you know, to be young men and great citizens, fathers, and leaders as well. Because at the end of the day, Lloyd, the kids that we have, they got to be coached and taught by somebody. Yeah. You know, fruit out here that's going to be able to bear bigger fruit and more fruit the right way than it be the wrong. I've done the wrong long enough.
Right. I'm with you all the way on that, man. I want y'all to way, because that segues into coaching and, you know, being a black man in America. You know what I'm saying? How do you feel about being a black man in America? Is it hard? Is it easy? You know what I'm saying? Is it some ups and some downs? What is it about being a black man in America?
I think the biggest thing is just a stereotype, and there are going to be peaks and valleys for all of it, but I think it hit the hardest just because of the systemic situations that we're in and the way the system's set up for us or against us. Mm-hmm. I think it's a way to hold you back, and it's all about who you know, and that's the sad part, because everybody does not know the same people. So it's really who you know to get in a lot of places, and it's hard, because if you don't know the right people, you can't get jobs. You can't get in situations, and you could be just as qualified as the next. If I got a same degree, same experience, same around here, we've known it for years. He's going to get the job. You know, we're not going to get that job when we might be more qualified than that person. Even with the police brutality side of it, I tell people, you know, it's sad because you get it from both sides. Like the police brutality side, I had it where a black cop beat my behind. I was at Tiffany's Teen Center right there on Forest Ave, probably 18 years old. Went out the club, cop looking at me crazy. I said something crazy to him. He puts on his gloves and beats my behind from the door to the parking lot to Forest Avenue. And you know, that's a different tip. So So, you know, like friends up in the car. There was some friends of mine that were riding past on Forest, just so happened to see me get tossed in the middle of the road, stop the car, pick me up, and it happened. But it wasn't a case of, oh, let me go back and call my mom and we're going to go get a lawyer and we're going to find the video. Nah, it was, if you made it out alive, don't go back over there. That's how it was. Yeah. Like, I was talking to a very prominent coach in college basketball, has been in a number of places, and I asked him, I said, you know, what were y'all taught growing up? And he was like, just make it to the courtroom, because they can kill you right where they are, and there's nothing that we find out about except for we don't know where he is. And it's so many of those stories that we are set back. and it's from years and years of oppression. And I think Maya Moore is doing a great job with trying to put some of that stuff out to work these policies and different things. And there's some people, Lindsey Hunter over at Valley, he's speaking out a lot more. But I think that it's just always been, man, we've always been thought of second or third, not even, 3/3 of a human. It was always like we were more animal than, so like, it's been taught to different races and different people that are some of these ideologies that shouldn't be out there, but they are. And a lot of it has to change from the top. Like I've been telling people, like, if we want things to change, we have to create the change. We can't be about talking about it. And the protesting is great. I think it brings light and it brings a voice to it, which is needed because you need loud voices. When you're in numbers, we hear you more. Just like basketball, you have more folks in the gym, you're gonna be able to hear them. Like if we got this in this past, but we out here, we ready to go. Okay, everybody pull their boots up. Like at the end of the day, the deck is stacked against us. And over time in the history of our people, we've always fought through that. Like it didn't put they through it as slavery. Okay, we got past that, we still here. And they put the syphilis on us, you know what I mean? They gave us all the syphilis disease, we still here. Like they you think about the damn COVID-19, we still here. You know what I'm saying? Like you're right. For me as black people, I feel like, and a friend of mine was talking to a business partner of mine, and we're going to business together. We were talking today, and it's more of, if we allow them to continue to tell us what we are, that's what we'll be. At some point, you got to stand up to whoever it is. Hey, I'm that. Like LeBron did, and I'm so proud of him. I'm more than just a shut up and dribble guy. Like, and he opened up school. Him, Jalen Rose, and other guys that are putting their money and dollars to where their mouth is instead of just talking. Because a lot of people are gonna get out here and say a lot of things. But what about the feet to the pavement? And it's not all about protesting. It's about going and fighting this thing to the top. Like I got a call today. All you hear that wants to change the Mississippi flag, and it was damning to hear his reasoning of the NCAA won't host, regional tournaments in Mississippi because of the flag, but it's only for certain sports. It's one of them was, they can host a tournament, but a men's basketball tournament. Now, is there some more to it, some more variables involved? Yes. But for it to be a situation where that flag is hindering anything from this state from growing, I think it's something that needs to be removed. And us as a people, that's a movement to get behind. Better education is the biggest movement to get behind. Better child insurance and healthcare for children of color in poor regions in America, like the Delta and some areas. That's the things that we got to get behind and push for change in order to make it better for us, because you only as the complaints you got. I mean, if you're sitting around complaining about it, that's all you're doing.
Right. Yeah, you're right. You're right. But man, I'm with you all the way. You know what I'm saying, and everything that you're saying makes perfect sense. But we got a long way to go. In a short time to get there. I'm hoping that everybody got an understanding about what it's gonna take, and that's why voting is so important. Come November, voting is so important. Come November, so that's the main thing. I just want to make sure everybody understands. Let's get out and vote. All this other stuff, walking down the street, doing all this and doing all that. I get it. Let's go to vote. We gotta vote. This sitting down thinking nothing's gonna happen. We gotta get, you know what I'm saying? Oh, nothing ain't gonna happen if we do this. No, you need to get out and vote. Definitely.
And I told somebody like John Knight does a tremendous job around here with.
Oh yeah, definitely.
For any type of wrong civil rights violation, because his son was actually violated by down here as well. And again, it was a black officer on and of course John's son is African American, so it was a situation where he was abused. a victim of violence, you know. And for my stance on it, if we got that many people out there protesting, all of the people should be registered to vote.
Right.
Be going to vote. You know what I'm saying? If we got folks out there and when they showing up, it should be, hey, are you registered to vote? If you're not, here's what you need to know. Because the biggest thing about, you know, registering to vote, a lot of times people don't know how to register to vote, where to go vote, any information or education on voting, period, because it hadn't been something that was in their households and brought up, you know, along the way, so they couldn't point you in the right direction. So like now we got to do a better job of, we have voices now and we have a platform, because the media sitting right here on Zoom right now, we can touch everybody anywhere. So right. Campaigning right now, you know, in voting, and also with, you know, school down there is a black boarding school that, you know, was struggling for a while to keep the doors. But we got so many African American kids who are at your St. Andrews, and I'm not knocking any of these schools, at your private white institutions as far as, you know, high schools. And we do have excellent academic center here, institution at down 49, that's a historically black institution. So now you're talking about a place that's been open 111 years, has provided education for, you know, black kids since 1909. And if you can imagine, you know, they tell a story about Warren C. Jones, the founder of Piney Woods, who was strung up in a tree and about to be hung. And he was a big communicator. So when he got up in the news, you know, white folks who had him up were like, yeah, since you love to talk so much, won't you talk now?
Right.
And they gave him a platform before they hung him and before they set the trash on fire to speak. As he spoke, he kept speaking. And as he dropped names, he started dropping names of people who were behind his movement of educating Negroes back then. And a lot of the people who were behind his movement were, you know, actual white sharecroppers that were down here who believed in what he was talking about, who happened to be friends with the people who had him strung up with the news. And ended up, one guy stands up and says, you know what? If my guy got behind this guy, I'm gonna get behind him too. What everybody out here to do is put some money in his hat so we can support him and send him back to do the movement he's trying. And it's the same thing that we're talking about now. Yeah. It's out forefront. Okay, put out, you know, mouth while I talk is, let's vote. Let's get out. Let's mobilize and make sure everybody's on board with trying to change things in this office. And I mean, when I say change things in office, I mean all parties involved, whoever's talking about. If you're not for what's right, man, you shouldn't be in those offices, because for them to cut the education bill every Department of Defense is growing, their budget grows every year, education diminishes. That's backwards. The judges make more than teachers. That's backwards. I've seen where that makes sense to me. Police chiefs, that never made sense. So,
yeah.
Same thing, man. Voting is very key, and we got to be the ones to spread the word.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, hold for just 1 second, man.
Okay.
I'm gonna hold on just 1 second. We want to cut to a quick little break. So just hold on just 1 second for the Lloyd Ross Experience podcast. Hold for just 1 minute, y'all. We'll be right back. All right, we're back from commercial break, I should say. Had to pay some bills for the Lloyd Ross Experience podcast. I got my guy, Coach Yusef Fitzgerald here, man, giving us good insight on any and everything. I wanted to say that I got 2 more questions, and we'll definitely be through for today. But one thing I wanted to talk to you about, because I see a lot of pictures and things online that you be doing and everything, and I know that this is Father's Day weekend.
That's right.
How does it feel, man, to be a father of is it 2, 3?
2 girls and a son, 3 kids.
3 kids, okay. How does it feel to be a father, man? You know how on the movie Peter Pan with Robin Williams, he was trying to think of his happy thoughts. You know what I'm saying? He had forgot about them. You know, he couldn't think of because he was trying to start back flying, and he thought being a father. That's what made him learn. That's what made him start back flying. That was his happy thought. So like being a father for you, you know what I'm saying? How is that? I should say one of the best things that is that one of the best things that ever happened in your life, or is top three, top two? What is it?
It's up there with the experiences that you have for lifetimes, like meeting your significant other and it working, y'all marrying and being together for 30, 40, 50, 60 years. It's up there with that, with the love for your mom. And it's the things that I tell people is I wasn't blessed with involved parents. My mom was working a whole lot out of town in different places, and my dad, like I said before, he was gone doing his thing, you know, in the streets. And now that I see how my children react to me being around and the things that I learn, I pick up from them, and I mean it's rewarding to say the least, because you're doing it for them. Like everything that you do every day when you're getting up, it's not for you anymore, it's for them. And I told somebody, you'll never understand how it is to protect your own until you have your own, and the love and the end you'll go to protect them. I recall one time I went to the daycare and one of my kids was getting hit upside the head, and I just happened to be standing at the door and watching. And before I knew it, I was in there and I had grabbed the other little kid, like, hey, look, little dude, like, stop hitting my child. And they were 3 or 4, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I know the little dude doesn't know what he's doing after that, but at the time, it's a protection, you know what I'm saying? It's like your cub, like a lioness with a cub.
Yeah.
You're not anything touch, bother, you know, I go through greater lengths to protect my house. And so, like, for me, man, just to see the smiles, like, I can go, Lloyd, we can lose 3, 4 games in a row. When my daughter ain't gonna care nothing. She's at the game, too.
Right.
She ain't no loss. She ain't studying no loss. What she's saying, hey, man, what's up? Lay on your back so I can jump on your chest. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then my 8-year-old, she's just so passive and such the opposite. She's just like my sister. She just, you know, all she wants is love. She wants to be a hug. She wants to get a kiss. She wants to be picked up. Right. I want to be a baby. You know, and then my son, his stubborn behind. He's just like me. You know what I'm saying? He ain't trying to get it himself. And he don't want no help. I want to do it all on my own. So, like, you know, it's the things that I do now. And I was talking to a good friend of mine out of Tyrus and I, very, very similar views. And I trained Tyrus when he was younger, when he was with Charlotte and the Bulls. And we're saying about just your legacy, man. And at the end of it, I want to be able to leave, put a statue up, or my bust is sitting in somebody's Hall of Fame to say, hey, man, your dad was an alright dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't try to mess over nobody. He treated everybody with respect. And I want the world to open up to them the same way that I pushed it open for me. And my mom did something that pushed it open for us as well, because my mom, man, she's a trailblazer in her own right. She's the regional director of the Children's Defense Fund. And she's been, you know, influential women in the history of the movement. And I ain't talking about, you know, this year, last year. We talking about since the 60s. She was actually on Andrew Young's campaign when he ran for mayor in Atlanta and won back in the 80s. So, I mean, it goes where, you know, my grandmother and grandfather were leaders and teachers and judges, and on her side, and my mom, my dad's side had my aunts and uncles that were teachers of the years in Atlanta. And so we come from some stuff that it started off, but we got the lineage, and now I'm just trying to pass it to my kids now. So when I'm going on, you know, from this earth, that they'll have something to live on and carry on and have something to, you know, uphold.
Right. Yeah, I'm with you on that, man. And that's what we do. We live for our kids, you know what I'm saying? We hope for the best for them, you know, that's what all parents do. You know, we strive, we want them to be the best that they can be. You know, so we can just pass the torch down, man. And you know, it's really a blessing, man. I enjoy watching you as a father, man. I think you know, that's one of the greatest things next to basketball I think you ever done. And man, just to see you with your little girl, and you know what I'm saying, it's remarkable. You know what I'm saying? So man, just keep doing what you're doing, my brother. You know, I know you're gonna have a great, successful season. My last question for you. I need you to name top 5 greatest basketball players that ever touched the floor in the NBA.
All right, so I do this a little different. That's why you don't see my stuff out there that much, because I only go off of what I've seen. A lot of people have, you know, people in their top 5 that they've never seen play at all in their life, and I can't. I think Wilt and Bill Russell and those guys paved the way. But my 2 eyes have seen playing basketball ever. Michael Jordan.
Okay.
LeBron James. Kobe Bryant.
All right.
And Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Okay.
And Magic Johnson.
Yeah. Okay.
1, Mike at the 2.
Yeah.
I put Kobe at the 3, LeBron at the 4, and Kareem at the 5.
Oh man.
We coming down.
That's a hell of a list, man. That's a hell of a list. I mean, you know, it's a good list. I probably change one player. I had to put Shaq on there, you know, some way, somehow. But you know, but that's a good list, man.
I love Shaq too, man. Shaq, I can say this about Shaq, like Shaq was one of the most dominant forces, if not the most dominant force that we've ever seen. Now, I didn't see Wilt. They say Wilt was something like that, man.
Yeah.
I've seen a movable force like that on the floor. And then when it decided to move, that it moved nimbly. Like Shaq, can't remember how Jack jumped over the candlestick?
Really?
Like Shaq, that when he was younger, because his feet were good, man. But eyes and man, it was different. But I always tell people, you can't tell me nothing until you stop that sky hook. Until you stop from Kareem. That sky hook from 3 with both hands. I said, ain't no way this man gonna whoop y'all with one move, and he did it.
Yeah.
Currently for the longest, but you know, you got some guys though, Lloyd, that are coming behind these folks, and they don't realize they're not paying attention to the Kevin Durant's. Now, this Achilles derailed him a whole lot for them numbers, but Kevin Durant was the youngest player to get to 20,000. I don't think people realize that. He's still on his way to get some huge numbers if his body can get back right. Because that jumper ain't going nowhere. You can count on that, man. That can shatter some numbers, man, because if he can get some more out of that body after this Achilles, which, you know, with technology now is possible, man. But yeah, that's my top 5, man. So
hey, that's a list, man.
Somebody else got me. Somebody got me with the top 5 in Mississippi, and that was easy because I could just keep it in here. But you finally got me. You're the only person got me the top 5 for the NBA.
Well, my brother, I appreciate you coming on the Lloyd Ross Experience podcast, man. I'm gonna let you know everything, you know what I'm saying, this weekend or whatever when it hit the ground. But I appreciate you, man, coming on, man, and thank you so much, man. Thank you for always being a good brother, man.
Appreciate you, man. Anything you got, plug me in. You want to get me on again, man, let me know when. I'm always here.
All right, I appreciate it, brother. Yeah, be safe, man.
You too. Be blessed.
All right.